If we could talk to the animals, learn all their languages, maybe take an animal degree. If I conferred with our furry friends, man to animal, think of the amazing repartee. If I could walk with the animals, talk with the animals, grunt and squeak and squawk with the animals, and they could talk to me.
Hello and welcome to Pet Watch. We've left the studio today and we're out at Williamson County Animal Control and Adoption Center. I talk about it each month on the program, but perhaps you've never been here and never seen our facility. I welcome you to the building here behind Franklin High School and behind Columbia State Community College. I want to introduce you today to an idea called the Summer of Stars. It's time for lights, camera, action, because all our animals are going to be named after celebrities during June, July, and August. We are a participant in the ASPCA's Rachael Ray $100,000 challenge. We're so privileged to be part of this contest. We applied back in January. It's the 5th and final year that celebrity chef Rachael Ray will be donating money to shelters across the country. The ASPCA has set up the rules, and the goal for each shelter is to save 300 more lives than they did last summer during those same 3 months. So it's a big challenge. It's going to take a community effort, the effort of the shelter, all our volunteers, and you to make that happen. We have the potential of winning a number of different prizes, all of which are monetary, which would help the shelter immensely, of course. We always thinking of new and exciting ways to make our pets more comfortable and more adoptable. So we're in it for the 3-month run of June, July, and August. We have events at the shelter. The big kickoff June 7th, free to the public, Saturday from 11 to 3 on June 7th, right here at the shelter. We'll have games and plenty to do for the whole family. And we're going to even have our pets walk the red carpet at each of our events this summer. And we even have the paparazzi taking their photos as they come down the red carpet. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll not only have events here, but we'll have them all over the community. We'll be in a Cool Springs area at Animal Ark on Friday the 13th of June for a special night with free cat advice from Dr. Grace from the University of Mississippi State, who wrote the book on cats. So we hope you'll be there for that and a number of other events. So let's go inside and meet one of our sponsors who's making this all possible. Welcome back to our tour of Williamson County Animal Control and Adoption Center. We're taping in a live environment, so you may hear dogs in the background or cats right beside us, but my special guest is named Cat as well. Her name is Cat Avila. Avila? Mm-hmm. Okay, I want to pronounce it right.
That's right, Avila.
Okay, Avila, and she is with Animalia Health and Wellness Veterinary Clinic in Franklin. Welcome, Cat.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
We are highlighting Animalia today because they are the presenting sponsor for our 3-month challenge called the Summer of Stars. Now, Kat has the good fortune of working at Animalia, first of all, and second, that she works for Dr. Michelle Preston. So you told me an interesting story about you moved to this area and how you met Dr. Preston.
I moved here to the area a couple years ago, and I had a senior dachshund at the time, and I was very worried about her health care, and I wanted to find a good vet, and I stumbled upon Dr. Preston, and I've been very fortunate ever since.
And you ended up being the customer service representative at her desk, front desk now, so you're the first person that people see maybe when they come in the clinic.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, tell me about Animalia. What is the philosophy behind it? How does it differ from another vet clinic?
When Dr. Preston wanted to open up her own clinic, she was really focused on spreading the word around southern Tennessee about animal welfare and how important it is and how important pets are in people's lives. Just really spreading that word.
What are some of the unique therapies or options you offer clients that the traditional veterinary practice might not have, or that may be new in the industry?
Well, we do normal veterinary services as well. We do spays and neuters and things like that, but we also have a rehabilitation center, which is amazing. We offer services like underwater treadmill therapy, hydrotherapy, acupuncture, laser therapy, All of those services are huge for dogs that are recovering from surgeries perhaps, or geriatric pets that are sore and arthritic. It's just really extending the lives of these pets, and it's making a huge difference for their owners.
So instead of medicating the pain of arthritis, you might actually do a therapy which would involve exercise or even acupuncture. Is that something that Dr. Preston herself does?
No, she does not. Dr. Preston started the clinic with Dr. Blake Malone when they opened 3 years ago, and a year ago we have hired 2 new doctors, Dr. Lisa Martin and Dr. Kristen Turner. Dr. Martin is certified in rehabilitation services, and Dr. Turner is working on it. She's just become certified in acupuncture, and so we, including Dr. Michelle, the 3 of them have a passion for going above and beyond and investigating the holistic side of things too. So.
Right, and the holistic side being a natural, a natural cure.
Okay. Natural approach. A lot of supplements and things like that are also things that they're getting into and sort of working with clients to help benefit in addition to normal services.
I think it shows that the traditional veterinary practice is changing, in that veterinary students are now specializing in breeds, or they're specializing in canine or feline medicine, and now they're even specializing in other fields like we're used to in the treatment of humans, like ophthalmology or geriatrics or acupuncture therapy and
massage even.
Oh,
massage. Yep, you can be a certified canine massage therapist.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I've asked people, well, have you go to massage therapy school? And they all say for animals.
Exactly.
That's interesting.
They like it too.
Yeah. You have had some interesting clients who made the news at your practice. I know that Mike Wolf, who is the star of American Pickers, who lives in this area, his dog Ruby was bitten by a snake, and Mike went. It went public because it was such a serious case. And tell us about Ruby.
She is doing well. She is 100% back to her normal, healthy self, and she really recovered. And he had credited Dr. Preston for helping save her life, and so it's nice to see her. They come in and visit, and she's back to being chubby little Ruby.
Chubby Ruby. Okay, we won't let Mike know that. She's do that. Okay. And I would imagine that snakebite happens in this area. I mean, we have a mixture of urban and rural, and that's the kind of thing we see here at the shelter. Is I have a house in a subdivision, but there's a snake in my garage.
Right.
So summertime is a time to be aware. And what advice would you give if one of our viewers happened to see a snake and happened to know it had bitten their family pet? What's the first thing they should do?
Get to the closest animal clinic. Sometimes your normal vet clinic isn't the closest to you, so in that sort of situation, you really would want to be safe rather than sorry. I would say find the closest clinic you can, emergency clinic, whatever it might be, and just get your pet seen as soon as possible.
Do you need to identify the type of snake if you can?
I'm sure it would help, but I think probably the most important part would be just finding help as soon as possible. But if you can snap a picture, or if you can at least describe it, the size, the color, that would be helpful, I'm sure.
And the smaller the pet, the more harm could be done more quickly in a small animal. So people need to remember that. A small animal could react very violently and very quickly to that kind of bite. Well, I didn't want to digress onto snake bites, but that is an interesting case, and I know Dr. Preston sees a wide variety of clients out there. What are some of the most exotic things you've had brought into your clinic?
Well, we focus on cats and dogs, but we are next to a community that has several ponds and lakes, and just a couple weeks ago we had some very kind folks that brought a turtle in that had a fish hook stuck in his lip, and so we fixed him and got him back outside, and so that was really nice. We have Dr. Turner, her family actually has a goat farm, and so we've met a few of the baby goats, and that has been really, really fun. That was exciting. So Dr. Preston will occasionally make farm calls and every once in a while, but our focus is cats and dogs.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I know she had taken an older home there at, you're on Highway 96 West, just past the entrance to the West Haven community. Or if you don't know where that is, it's across from Gentry Farm, which every school, Williamson County school child has visited at least once.
Right across the street.
Yeah. Now, on your property there, do you have boarding as well?
We do not, unfortunately. We have an older home as our clinic, and so it's a little tight with space. So unfortunately, boarding is not an option. But we do have 7 acres of ground, so a lot of the West Haven folks walk their dogs and stop by and play out in the field in the back, and it's we called it country TV the other day. There's always something to watch out the
I'm
window.
going to call it Dr. Preston's unofficial dog park.
Yes, there you go. That's better.
I think she may have to fence the area and let them just play, because build a few little barriers and things for them to play on. That's funny. And I know you guys hosted Nashville Paw Magazine's Barktoberfest, which last fall was a huge success. So you do have some beautiful land in the around the clinic, and a great situation there for the Williamson County folks that live out that direction to have a clinic that high visibility. Now, after hours, what are your referral there?
We do have an answering service, so we always encourage our clients to try to call and get connected with one of our doctors first to sort of triage the incident. But Blue Pearl is the closest to us, emergency 24-hour clinic, so we do recommend folks go there the majority of the time. If it's a true emergency, we cannot wait. But having the service, the after call, answering telephone service is really huge, and it gives clients a lot of satisfaction knowing they can reach us at any point.
Well, Dr. Preston has always been a big supporter of the Williamson County Animal Shelter, and she is also on the board of our 501(c) Williamson Animal Services. And when she heard about the ASPCA challenge, she came forward and was very generous to be our presenting sponsor for the summer. Now, what that means, along with Dr. Preston's practice and Amelia and the other sponsors which we have gathered, I'm pleased to announce that all adoptions made during June, July, and August will be at no fee for the adopter. In other words, all our sponsors have been so generous that they have prepaid for all the adoptions that will occur this summer. So there's really no reason not to adopt a pet during the Summer of Stars. We ask you to come and make your application. We do follow the same procedures, even though the adoption is prepaid by our sponsors. We will investigate your application. We will call your landlord if you have one. We'll follow all the same procedures we always do, ensuring that our pets have absolutely the best homes to go to. Kat, I want to thank you for being here, and tell us your phone number there at Aunt Amelia. I know you're probably taking new patients. If anyone needs a veterinarian, she's got 2 new vets on staff that would probably love to be there. What's that number?
Our number is 615-595-7100.
Thank you, and we'll be right back and meet some of the stars that will be up for adoption this summer.
Welcome to Poets from the Neighborhood. I'm Louise Collin.
And I'm George Spain.
And we're going to read you some poetry written by your friends and neighbors.
Bricks. Sturdy, heavy, hard, smooth, rough, narrow, wide, ignored as ordinary, yet formed with ancient skills. Bricks offer security without aggression. White to black, rose to cream to gray, touches of purple, magenta, vermilion. The history and moods of earth are revealed by their presence. Used for strength, yet brittle, bricks shed chips when tumbled, but last centuries stacked tightly. They stand steady, offer the pleasures of earth, a sense of time, rarely intrude, simply wait for the observer's eye.
Moving by Susie Margaret Ross. When she opened the kitchen window, let in the sunlight, suddenly she knew where the salt belonged on the shelf, how the oven worked.
Serenity by Louise Collin. A red-tailed hawk glides underneath the angel grace of feathering clouds.
Back to the Country by Gail Burton Haddock. These are their roads, not ours, the old-timers, that is. They move slowly, noticing the fields and the subtle changes there and in the woods, unconsciously keen from a lifetime of quiet observation. We are newcomers, fresh and roaring from the city, high speed, impatient and impressed with our sudden discovery of what, after all, has been here all along, and what our parents or grandparents perhaps fought hard to escape. Thank you for being with us today.
Hi, I want to introduce you to one of the kittens available for adoption here today, named Bob Hope. We're naming all our cats after celebrities this year, and Marci has a cat named Bob Hope crawling all over her this morning. Tell us about Bob. How old is Bob?
Bob is 8 weeks old.
Now, Bob came in to us as a, how old, you know? When
He only came in just on the 19th, so here we are the 22nd. So he's only been here for 3 days.
Now tell me the little story about, we may have already found an adopter for Bob, which happens a lot of times. That's why I always encourage people to come by the shelter often, and if they're attached to a pet, to go ahead and adopt, because they'll be gone quickly, a little cutie like Bob will be. Tell us his story about where he's going to be adopted.
Well, actually, a couple came in last night, and their daughter is going to be graduating from elementary school, and this is her graduation gift. So they are going to pick him up on Friday after commencements, and she is going to get the surprise of her life when little Bob Hope comes home with her.
We have a lot of kittens and cats here this year. We've had a little bit of a lull in what we usually call kitten season. What's your feeling about that? Because I know typically in the early summer or late spring, we have a huge influx of kittens, and it's been a little less this year, hasn't it?
Yes, it has, and I think a lot of that has to do with it has been our winter was so cold, and I think that helped a little bit. I think fewer cats went into heat sooner than they would normally, and so anyway, I think that helped. And also, we have had a spay-neuter clinic here for the last 5 years, and I am hoping that we are finally starting to see the fruits of our labors with that one. No pun intended.
Yeah, well, the number of cats that can be produced from two unaltered male cat and a female cat is astronomical. If all of them are never spayed and neutered, it's in the hundreds of thousands within 5 or 7 years. So imagine that people think, well, if I don't spay or neuter my cat, it's not that big a deal. Well, yes, it is, because you don't know what other animals are approaching your female cat, and you don't know where your male cat is all the time. So it can cause a lot of unwanted kittens, and we don't want that. We want precious kittens that we can find wonderful homes for, like Bob Hope. Oh, we did get a cat sound up. Bob, would you like to say anything? Oh, isn't he cute? We're glad that Bob's going to a home. One of the things we mentioned about the summer challenge is that through our through our sponsors, all the pet adoptions are paid for this summer. Now, people come in to make application; they'll still need to do that. What are some of the items that would be covered in an adoption fee for that animal, like in immunizations and vaccinations? What's important for a cat, and what will they be immunized against when they're adopted?
Well, they have all had their first kitten vaccination, which covers a variety of illnesses, one of them being a calicivirus, which can cause an upper respiratory illness, and there are others that it does cover. They also get wormed, they get defleed, and when they come in to get spayed or neutered when they're a little older, we like to have them spayed or neutered when they're 4 pounds. They will also get a microchip and a rabies vaccination included in the adoption fee as well.
What about feline leukemia? That's a scary thing that a lot of cat owners ask about.
Oh yes, of course, and we do test all of our kittens before they go on the adoption floor. We do not carry the vaccine, but we do test them, and when the kittens are negative, they go on the adoption floor.
That's great, because that is a life-threatening illness for the cat population.
Yes.
And I was talking with a veterinary practice person the other day, and she was telling me that many cat owners make the mistake of not taking their cats for an annual checkup. They think that just because they've got the rabies vaccine and the cat's in the house, that it doesn't need an exam. And I think it's important for cat owners to understand that there are many illnesses and things that a veterinarian could find in an annual checkup or issues they could discuss. How do you feel about that? Is it important in your mind that a cat gets a regular checkup?
Oh, certainly, yes. I mean, I have my cats looked at. I know plenty of people who have strictly indoor cats, and they still have them checked up. I mean, cats can, aside from getting an illness, I mean, they can from another animal, even if they're not, you know, what am I trying to say? You know, in contact with other animals, such as wildlife, I mean, they can still get urinary tract infections, upper respiratory. So I think it's very important to have them, you know, checked on every year, even your indoor cats.
I agree. And this veterinarian had told me that she had a cat with a tumor, and by the time the owner brought it in, it was a life-threatening situation, and if it had been found earlier, it would. Well, Marci, we consider you the cat whisperer here at Williamson County Animal Control. If anybody has ever called about a cat, I'm sure they've talked to Marci before. She does so much, she knows so much, and she coordinates our kitten fostering program, which becomes important this time of year. And we appreciate you bringing Bob Hope on today.
Oh,
and
certainly.
We want people to know that there are a lot more pets like Bob Hope, kittens and cats, who need forever homes, and we hope you will adopt a star and save a life. The next star I'd like to introduce you to is Miss Goldie Hawn, this golden retriever mix here, and she's held by Jolita, who works at our front desk. And I call her the breed whisperer because Jolita knows what every breed of dog looks like, and we do our best to guess at what their backgrounds are. What do we know about Goldie Hawn when she came into our shelter?
Goldie was a stray that came in from Fairview. She is spayed. She's current on all her shots, and she is ready to find a forever home. She's a very sweet, laid-back girl that's about 6 years old, and would make a perfect family pet, I think.
She is sweet. Was she spayed or neutered when she came in?
I believe she was.
Okay, so if she hadn't been, that would have been part of the service that we provide with every adoption, right?
That's correct. She is also heartworm tested, and all of our dogs that are available for adoption have been tested for heartworm, which is very prevalent here in the South when they're not on a heartworm preventative, and it's carried by mosquitoes. And it can be deadly to a dog. If they do test positive, we do treat them when they've been adopted, and we ask that everybody please do either have your dog tested or have them on a heartworm preventative, because it can be a very painful death for them. But Miss Goldie Hawn here is heartworm negative and current on everything, and with your adoption fee, that does include the microchip, the spay neuter, current on rabies, and all vaccines.
That's great. It's so important to know that an animal is healthy when a person does come to adopt it, and we try to do everything we can to assure that. I know when they come in the door, they're immediately evaluated, and then of course one of the things you do is we try to find the owner the best we can. What are some of the methods that we use to reconnect stray pets with their owners?
We utilize various social medias. She needs to rest. It's tough being a movie star. We hopefully, when people are missing their pets, they will call or know to call the shelter, and we have a book that we keep for cats and dogs and take all the information of a missing pet. When pets are picked up or someone brings them in, we try to stay on top of what's brought into the shelter through the dispatch and intake area to make sure that it's not someone's pet that they're looking for. We also use a Help Me Home, Lost and Found Pet website to see if anybody's posted something there. We've been successful using that, and just like this morning, someone emailed us a picture of their dog, and it had been picked up yesterday stray, so it got to go home this morning before the long weekend.
That's great. I love to see them reunited, and I want to mention that if a dog has a microchip, all of that can be avoided. A microchip with the complete registry information kept online and kept up to date is an instantaneous way to reconnect. And when a dog comes in our back door, we do check for microchips and then look on a registry, right?
That's correct. We do find a lot of times that the owners do not register their microchips. Here at the shelter, the type chips that we use are automatically registered in the new adopter's name, so they don't have to do anything. We give them the information if in the event that they move or need to change information, that at that time they can contact the company.
Right. I've done that with our pet, and you do need to remember that if you change your cell phone number or you don't have a home phone number, it's vitally important to go on that website and change that number so that you can be contacted.
Also, many dog owners don't realize that it is the law that your rabies tags are supposed to be displayed at all times, and so if your animal was picked up running stray, if it had the tag on, we could more easily find its way home.
Right, we can trace every Tennessee rabies tag number.
Correct.
Through our own. If it's Williamson County, we'll have the record here. If it's not, we'll reach out to the county where it was. We have a lot of dogs available who will all be named after celebrities this summer. And what do you like to do when an adopter comes in? Tell me about what are the questions that we ask people when they say, I think I want a dog.
Well, we have a pre-adoption process that we kind of assess and see if it's a thought-out process or if it's just kind of, oh, I want a puppy, and we have to remind them that they don't stay puppies, that they grow up and become dogs, and they'll come in and ask sometimes, oh, do you have any puppies? And I say, all of those dogs back there at one time were puppies.
That's right.
But we also have a meet your match that will, after these dogs' personality have been assessed, kind of, it's like playing the dating game so that we can match the personality with what the adopter, the potential adopter, is looking for with the dog. We don't want to put a high energy dog with a person that may have low energy expectations. So that's some of the questions we ask are, how long are the dogs going to be left alone? Is everyone on board that lives in your home?
Everyone in the family, including the pets you already have.
Correct. We really strongly suggest, pretty much require, that if you have other dogs, that they come here and meet with the one that you're looking to adopt. It just works out better than having to turn around and bring them back because it didn't work out. And we've always got someone available to help the potential adopter with the dog they're looking at and their pets to assess them.
And it's not always, the shelter's not the greatest place in the world to evaluate a dog. They're under stress, they have other dogs barking and that kind of thing.
And most of the time they act entirely different, just outside their kennel.
Well, I hope somebody comes and adopts Goldie Hawn. She's pretty laid back. I think she's happy to be out here showing off herself in the lobby. And Jolita, thank you for telling us about all our dogs that are stars this summer. And remember that all the adoption fees are waived this summer. If you come in to adopt a cat or dog, you just have to fill out an application and bring us an ID, and you can become a forever home. I hope you've enjoyed our visit today to Williamson County Animal Shelter and Adoption Center, and I want to highlight our June events for you so you don't miss any of the fun. June 7th, as I mentioned, will be our challenge kickoff here at the shelter from 11 to 3. Everything we do is open to the public, so please come out. You might end up being a volunteer, you never know. Then on Friday, June 13th, we'll be at a Friday Animal Fair at Animal Ark Hospital on McEwen Drive. That's right behind the licensing bureau there, the inspection station. And then on June 14th, we'll have a big event at Carpet Den, who provided our red carpet for us today. They have some new pet-proof carpet, and you can come see that. That's an interesting idea. And then on Monday, June 19th, we'll be eating at Logan's for Raise the Stakes night. Then Friday, June 20th, we'll be at the library out on the lawn, right there on Columbia Avenue. Saturday, June 21st at Title Max over on Murfreesboro Road in Franklin. And then on Saturday, June 28th, we'll be down in Leapers Fork. I hope that you will save a life and adopt a star this summer during our challenge. We need all the community's help to make this happen, and we appreciate everything you do and all the support you give the Williamson County Animal Control and Adoption Center. I invite you to come by anytime. We'd love to show you around. You can see all our beautiful cats and dogs available for adoption. We're at 106 Claude Yates Drive. You turn right past Columbia State University, follow the signs around the back, and there's our building. I enjoyed speaking with you today, and I hope you enjoyed this tour of our shelter.
If we could talk to the animals, learn all their languages, maybe take an animal degree. If I conferred with our furry friends, man to animal, think of the amazing repartee. If I could walk with the animals,